Yo, Tommy, open up!
Welcome to The Rebound, Australia's #1 business show that wakes up the entrepreneur in all of us.
The tools of business have changed, but the principles, they remain timeless.
And we are your hosts, Steve Sammartino, Tommy McCubbin, Rad Yo, and Bertie Ocampo.
We are going to bring together business and technology to empower you.
This is The Rebound. Strap yourself in.
Thirsty, Tommy?
I like this service.
Two options for you. Cheap sparkling water and some of the fancy stuff.
I'll try and what's the difference?
Well, the price for starters, hey?
How can one sparkling water fetch a price 3 times as much as another one?
We have to find that out, don't we?
Well, today's about pricing. I've got an experiment. I've asked the Rebound team to bring in something they think is expensive. Did you guys get the memo? Did you bring in your expensive thing?
We did indeed. This is about $4,000 worth of camera gear right here, out of about 15 grand that I own.
Better than a smartphone camera?
Oh, absolutely, man. This makes art. What about you, buddy?
So I brought this in from the office, printer ink. They run out so quickly, but they're $60 a pop.
I brought this in. Used to spend my net worth on this $100. Now I smell like a teenage boy.
Hey, smelling expensive pays for itself.
Sure does.
My son Jesse's 5th birthday, the most expensive toy I've ever purchased, that's for sure. Indominus Rex, it's all he wanted.
That's all you ever wanted, I reckon.
Guilty. But look, this is interesting because there's a discrepancy between the value of the thing and the price of the thing, isn't there?
Yeah, and today's episode's all about the art, science, and psychology of pricing. So let's get stuck into it. When I was 16 years old, I worked in Hungry Jack's flipping burgers so I could buy things to make my teenage life look cool. I remember in the mid-1980s that Oakley sunglasses hit the surf scene. I saved up and bought a pair of Oakley frogskins with clear frames and iridium reflective orange lenses. The exact same type I saw world champion surfer Tommy Carroll wearing in a Surfing Life magazine advert. Their price was $85 way back in 1985. And if it sounds like a lot now, it was a fortune back then. This is the price we are prepared to pay to belong. The price we'll put on an emotional purchase, which makes us feel part of something or even a bit special. Much of what we buy is less about the function it delivers and more about how it makes us feel.
Sam, I spent the early years of my career as a designer, and when I was starting out, you had to take work from anywhere, and at times for any price. Also, I thought at the time.
Well, free at times, I bet too.
Well, of course, right? This will be great exposure. Unfortunately, the exposure didn't pay the rent.
It doesn't feed the family either. So, for all you designers out there, in fact, anyone who charges for their time, accountants, video editors, web designers, here's a big idea for you on how you can price yourself. Price for value, not time. Tommy, it's time for a dream sequence. Hey, Jocks, thanks for coming out. Please take a seat.
So, did you receive my website proposal?
I did, and it was quite an amazing proposal, but I can't help but think that $5,000 is quite an amount of money for a website iteration of this nature. Is there anything you can do with price?
I appreciate $5,000 is a lot for you. Let me propose something. Why don't I do the website for free, but I'll take a percentage of revenue generated.
Okay, so if we make $100 per customer, what kind of a percentage are you thinking?
I think 50% is fair. $50 per customer.
Okay, I mean, I like it, but what if the amount exceeds the original $5,000 as proposed?
No, it will. My product is the best. But I'm taking all the risk up front. So you could always pay my original fee.
You know, when you propose it like that, I think the original price is quite reasonable. Thank you. The choice is simple. For service providers, ask to be paid what you're worth. But the art of doing that is framing it up in monetary terms for them. Do this and your clients will pay you, thankfully.
Where was this advice for Junior Tommy? Man, I needed you.
It was nowhere.
Good evening, everybody. Now, we all know why we're here. We're talking money, money, money. So, come on down. Now, when it comes to pricing, one of the most interesting things the digital world has shown us is that people are willing to pay for things they could get for free. Wow. It's true. Back in the heyday of online pirating, people were sharing and downloading all sorts of digital goods. Movies, software, games. If it was digital, it was a virtual free-for-all. That's because as technology changes, so does our idea of value. See, companies were still trying to sell digital goods for the same prices as physical ones, but savvy shoppers were not on board. Though it's essentially the same product, it doesn't cost companies to digitally duplicate a movie. Paying top dollar felt like being taken advantage of. Then services like Steam, the video game distribution platform, and Netflix, the video streaming juggernaut, came along. Services is the key word here. They weren't just serving up content. They were making it easier and more enjoyable for people to access digital goods. The user experience was smooth, things were easier to find, the friction was removed. And humans love convenience. Making things easier is also making them more valuable. For that, people were willing to hang up their pirate hats and start paying for the things they were previously getting for free. Wow. Heck, they'll even pay when they don't get anything extra. Streaming video games, for example, has become a huge business, where entertainers will live stream themselves playing games on platforms like Twitch, and viewers can pay money to subscribe and support the streamer. I mean, sure, you get a little picture next to your username, and maybe the streamer will pay more attention to you, but essentially you're watching the same show. But viewers will invest in content if they want it to continue. And that's the kicker. In the digital world, more than ever, the price of something is really what you make it.
Hope you enjoyed your ad break. Welcome back to The Rebound, the show that wakes up the entrepreneur in all of us.
Expensive to who? See, what seems expensive to one person might seem like great value to another. And it doesn't matter if it's a car, a holiday, or even a hamburger. Let's take a $15,000 first-class ticket to London. Seems like a lot of money, but what if that was for an executive who was about to land a $10 million deal and she needs to arrive fresh and ready? Sounds like pretty good value to me. When it comes to our product pricing, it isn't just the relativity compared to our competitors that makes something expensive or cheap. It's about the mindset of the audience we seek to serve. So when you're about to price your product as premium or great value, make sure it matches the audience and what they think.
Now, today's show looks at the power of pricing. Our next guest has changed the way they price their products so everyone is getting a good deal.
The Rolly Nation story started when founder Vince starred in a global reality show, Lace Up, the ultimate sneaker challenge, where he designed shoes for stars like Pharrell and Beyonce. Now, he sells hundreds of shoes around the world and uses price to set the brand apart. I'm here with Vince from Rolly Nation. He's just upweighted the cool factor of the Rebound TV. Thanks for coming on board.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I want to start with what it was like designing shoes for rock stars on reality TV.
Yeah, I never thought I would have been on a reality TV show designing sneakers up in the States. It was absolutely crazy. We're designing for a new celebrity every week for 8 weeks.
And were these celebrities needy?
Yeah, a little bit needy, but no, they were all amazing, absolutely.
Now, Rolling Nation's been around a little while. We're really interested in this episode on prices. So with shoes, there's quite a spectrum of pricing possibility. When you launch, how do you decide where to price it? You're in a market, sneakers, shoes, it's a tricky thing. How did you come up with your first price point?
Well, I'd been in the footwear business for a little while, so I knew $99 was the magic price point.
Magic.
If you hit that price point, it was magic. And so that's how we first started. And so a lot of people came in, they fell in love with the product. And over time, you know, prices had to increase. Once we started wholesale, we needed to protect our margin a little bit. And then you had, you know, the Australian dollar increasing, and you had, you know, rising pricing offshore. And then once you were more established, we sort of found a value-based pricing structure.
And so you're constantly paying attention to things you never did at school, like the international trading rates of US dollar and
Yes,
Australian dollar.
Absolutely.
Maintaining a price point once your production goes up, are there any tricks? Because price isn't just, oh, that's a good price for consumers. It's got to make sense economically in the back end.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you had to do there?
Yeah, well, when I first started, I knew that my volumes weren't going to be massive. So what I did is I looked to consolidate the componentry. So I used the same outsole, same lace, same shoe box, same sock across every single color. And so even though the individual colorways might have been small, collectively, the orders were quite reasonable.
Yeah, right. Shoe hacking. See, back-end shoe hacking. That's fantastic. Now, one of the things that's emerged within the sneaker market is this idea of drops.
Yeah.
So do you guys do any of those where you do a small run on purpose?
Yeah, we do drops all the time. I mean, scarcity is an important business model, and for sneakers, it works incredibly well. So we'll drop like limited drops of, you know, special colorways or collaborations all the time, and they're sort of super limited. You get in, you get out, and you don't repeat them.
Yeah, right. And is there any second-hand market or fans happening within Rolling Nation?
Yeah, there's a secondary market group on
Secondary
Facebook and you know, buy and swap groups. It's crazy. We've got people that have got over 30 pairs of our shoes.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Big Insta photos with the whole wall full of the Rolling Nation.
Yeah, exactly. Big sort of circles of you know, Rolly shoes all over the place.
Incredible. That's incredible. So what percentage of your business is online today?
Yeah, we started off as a wholesale business, and now the online business is over 65% of our business.
Right, and you're using the Shopify platform?
Yep, we use Shopify Plus. We moved over about 2.5 years ago.
What's the difference between designing your own and just plugging in? Is there any advantages with that you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, Shopify is just, everything's inbuilt. I mean, you know, it's just a matter of using your imagination to work out what you want to do. You know, we're doing a lot of 3D work now, and 3D is already inbuilt in Shopify. It plugs in with everything. It's just an incredible platform.
Amazing. Now, for young designers out there in knowing how to price themselves, what advice would you give them?
It's all about value, right? So don't try to be the cheapest. You've got to look at, people are buying emotionally. So you've got to sort of look at, you know, are people really invested in your brand? If they can, then you can actually dictate the price that you want.
Absolutely. Now, you've got to check out rollynation.com, get a new pair of shoes. I know I'm going to. I'm done with these. Thanks for coming in, Vince.
Thanks, mate.
It's all here. I mean, you know it. See the prices in this catalogue, all these bargains? They're all going to be different next week. For some reason, in our business, we're too scared to change our price because we might upset someone. Consumers have been trained to expect prices to change. So don't be afraid to experiment with yours.
Welcome back to The Rebound. This is Fast Track Hacks powered by Optus 5G.
Never discount without a reason. Make sure price cuts are temporary and easy to reverse out. There's a reason it's called the Christmas sale or end of year financial run out.
Where possible, have a range of prices, tiered pricing. Now, of course, the more expensive items in the range should have more features, just like cars. But this strategy allows you to maximise a buyer's budget without having to ask.
Price differently for different customers. Business class seats or gold level service, priced by times of the week or day. Can you provide a student discount or special consideration for groups with moderate incomes? What's your tight ass Tuesday?
If you have a bundle of goods, have a loss leader, the traffic generator. This is what supermarkets do so successfully with their catalogue items and their big product displays. Stack them high, watch them fly.
Double your price. Freelancers, what if you doubled your price and lost half your customers? That's right, you'd have the same amount of revenue and much less work. Sometimes being a premium service provider is mostly about courage.
Functional products are never as high a price as products which are bought in an emotional context. So think about that beautiful home, new car and fashionable clothing. We pay more. So think about how you can move up the human hierarchy into the emotional territory. Here's a hack made possible by Optus. Understand movements in the market with pricing alerts on your devices. Know where you sit at all times because you can be sure your customers do. It's a simple hack that puts you in control.
Have you got a burning question for me? I'm here to answer all of your questions. It's Bertie, B-E-R-T-I-E. I'm Bertie from Shopify, and this is Burning Questions with Bertie. Does it devalue my brand to run sales? Believe it or not, Coca-Cola was the first brand to hook consumers with discounts in 1887. The very first coupon, which was redeemable for a free glass of Coke, would shape the future of commerce. The science underpinning the very first discount is still at work today online. Receiving discounts releases oxytocin and makes us happier. So unless you run an ultra-premium brand, discounting is unlikely to negatively affect your brand. In fact, it could be really helpful in a number of ways. Besides increasing sales, discounts can discourage customers from abandoning their online shopping carts. The opportunity to redeem a coupon also motivates consumers new to your brand to make their first purchase. Before offering a discount, clearly define what you want to achieve. Your goals with discounting may include acquiring new customers, increasing sales, earning repeat customers, or getting rid of unsold inventory. Then, the discount strategy is up to you. And all good pricing strategies require experimentation. So remember to test and learn and iterate. Should I price myself relative to my competitors? Pricing your products is one of the cornerstone decisions you'll make because it impacts almost every aspect of your business. Your pricing is a deciding factor in everything from your cash flow, to your profit margins, to which expenses you can afford to cover. That's why it's all too easy to get stuck on your pricing strategy when you're launching a new store or product. But it's important not to let the decision stop you from launching. The best pricing data you can get is from launching and testing with real customers. But you still need to start somewhere with a price that works. Set a starting price. Remember, just because it's the price you use to launch doesn't mean it's the price you'll use forever. To set your first price, add up all of the costs involved in bringing your product to market. Set your profit margin on top of those expenses, and there you have it. Forget about your competitors for now, and do what makes sense for your financial situation. We've published a link to this article on Shopify's toolbox found on the Rebound website, so head there now to learn more. How do I prove to my customers that my product is premium? There's never a black and white approach to setting a pricing strategy, and not every pricing strategy will work for every kind of retail business. Every brand owner will need to do their homework and decide what works best for their products, marketing strategy, and target customers. You can definitely benchmark your competition and then consciously price products above them to make yours seem more luxurious, prestigious, or exclusive. Be confident and focus all your efforts on the differentiated value you provide to customers, and ensure you're providing value for the price you have set. For example, great customer service, appealing branding, great packaging, maybe expensive eco-friendly packaging, and premium content on all your channels. Find any and every way you can provide real value to customers to demand those higher prices.
Every business has a couple of key numbers which reflect the success of the company. It might be churn rate per subscriber, or average basket size, or deals per phone call. Now what's important is you understand the ratios which drive those numbers. Once you understand the ratios, you drive the raw numbers which feed them. Welcome back to The Rebound. Today's episode was all about pricing and how one little number can have a monumental impact on your success. Now, take a seat. It's time for Sam's monologue.
Nothing sends a signal like the price. It tells people exactly where you want to sit in their mind, a point of comparison. Weirdly though, low cost or super high price isn't actually what makes something cheap or expensive. It's the value equation, and we have to get that right. And there's a zillion different pricing strategies, but whichever one we choose, our price has to match or exceed expectations. Price can work in funny ways and can even make the more expensive option seem more attractive. I mean, would you try and find the cheapest brain surgeon? We have to experiment to find the price which maximizes our profit or purpose. And never forget this, it's also the quickest thing we can change in any business.
If you've missed anything, don't sweat it. The transcript of today's episode can be found on the Rebound's Dropbox folder, which is on our website at thereboundtv.com.
Along with stacks of clips on our LinkedIn, Insta, TikTok and YouTube. Give us a follow while you're there.
From Rad, myself, Sama and Tommy, we hope you take a little bit of inspiration from the show.
Hey, big thanks to our sponsors Shopify, Dropbox, Optus, Toyota, Microsoft and Reveal Group.
Next week, we're going to take a look at how culture is the fastest way to grow your business.
Reporting for duty.
Is this military or Broadway?
I don't know.
Does your company have values? If not, now is the time to define them.
Water doesn't flow up the side of a mountain, it trickles down. Culture comes from the top.
This has been The Rebound. We'll see you next week.